Well, they say if you want something done right, you do it yourself.
And US physician and scientist Dr. David Fajgenbaum is perhaps the greatest example of that. David Fajgenbaum was nicknamed the Beast at medical school, and it's easy to see why. The 25-year-old former quarterback was a picture of good health, studying to become an oncologist. But his life took a drastic turn. He started feeling fatigued, had fluid in his legs and ankles, and was experiencing severe abdominal pain. David's condition deteriorated rapidly, and he soon found himself in ICU, dying in the very hospital where he was treating patients just weeks before. The situation made even worse by the fact doctors had no idea what was wrong with him or how to help.
My doctors encouraged my family to say their final goodbyes, and my family brought in a priest to administer my last rites to me.
He was finally diagnosed with Castleman disease, a rare, deadly illness with no cure. Over 3.5 years, David almost died 5 times. He was out of options and out of time. But with his upcoming wedding just around the corner, he wasn't giving up. The Beast took his fight to a new level, dedicating the time he had left to find a cure to save his own life.
I knew that if I wanted to make it to May 24th, 2014, which was our wedding date, that I would need to identify a treatment that could keep me alive.
It was a drug that had been around for 30 years, which finally gave David the help he so desperately needed. He made it to his wedding day, and 10 years later has a daughter, Amelia, a life he says feels like a dream. A life now dedicated to helping other Castleman patients live theirs.
We need to reflect on what we hope for and what we pray for, and then turn those hopes and prayers into action.
Incredible.
Isn't that just beautiful?
Well, he joins us now from Philadelphia. David, good morning to you. Thank you for sharing your remarkable story. I mean, to almost die so many times, to be given last rites by a priest. I mean, where do you even start?
Well, thank you so much for having me on this morning.
I mean, how is it for you to even confront all those obstacles that you have in the past and to share it? It takes enormous strength.
It's been such a difficult journey. As you shared earlier, I had my last rites read to me, and I never thought that I would survive. I didn't think that any of the 5 times I almost died. And so to go through that and to be where I am today with a daughter and a wife who are incredible, it's so special. But I still feel like I went through so much over these years, and I learned so many lessons from the ups and the downs that I feel like I need to share my story with others so that other people can learn these lessons about life that I learned from these challenges I faced.
I mean, it's just extraordinary. I mean, for us to get our head around that you're at a point where you're told it's basically all over, and you decide, okay, I'm basically going to be a test dummy here, and I'm going to test drugs on me to find one that worked. Can you talk us through that process?
So I was totally out of options, and I knew that if I didn't turn my hope for a treatment into action, that I knew I wouldn't survive. And I knew that it was unlikely. There was maybe a 1 in a million chance that I would actually find something that could save my life so I could make it to my wedding day. But I knew if I didn't try, that it was a 0 in a million chance. And so I got to work. I built an amazing team, and we worked day in and day out. And eventually I found a pattern in the data that made me think that this drug that was developed 30 years ago and it had never been used before for my disease might actually be able to save my life. And with no other options, I started testing it on myself.
It is fascinating to me that news that can break some people only makes other people stronger. You're one of those people. And you know, there's be a lot of people that take inspiration out of that call to be able to go, you know what, how do I navigate from here? The worst possible news. How do you do it?
I think it's important for 2 things. The first is to reflect on what you're hoping for, reflect on what you're praying for, and then say, what can I do today that can get us closer to what we're hoping for and what we're praying for? Yes. And the other thing is to have an amazing team around you, supporters, family, friends, loved ones. This is something that's been critical. If this was me working on my own, I would have never made 1/1000th of the progress. My book is titled Chasing My Cure, but it really should be Chasing Our Cures, because I never could have done it on my own.
And you say too that the effects of Castleman disease is actually quite similar to COVID-19. So you've actually switched your focus now, researching ways to treat COVID-19.
That's right. Both diseases cause what's called a cytokine storm, where the immune system gets out of control. In Castleman disease, we don't know why. For COVID, we know it's the virus that's causing the immune system to get out of control. So a few months ago, I found myself hoping and praying that someone somewhere would follow the blueprint that we've pioneered for Castleman disease. And then I remembered what I've been trying to share, and that's that if you're going to hope for something, you need to turn that hope into action. And so I redirected my lab recently to begin taking on COVID-19, and we started a project called the Corona Project, where we're searching for existing drugs, just like the drug that I'm on that's saving my life, that might be in your neighborhood pharmacy that could be a treatment or a cure for COVID-19.
Are you cured now?
I actually don't like to use the word cure to describe how I'm doing right now. I've been in remission now for almost 6.5 years, but I know that I can't round up because I know that I could be back in the ICU tomorrow, but I also don't round down because I'm so thankful for every minute that I have.
Oh, look, we really appreciate you coming on this morning.
Story.
You've got this beautiful family. Your little girl, Amelia, is just adorable. We're so happy for you, and we appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks so much for having me on and helping to spread our message of hope.
And you can read more about David's story in his book, Chasing My Cure, A Doctor's Race to Turn Hope into Action.
He's got a great smile and a great outlook.